everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the Health and Fitness Coordinator in Bedford, and today we're going to do a Midday Stretch Express flow, stretching out the muscles, feeling nice and rejuvenated. All you need is a yoga mat. Might be handy to have some yoga blocks for a couple moves if you need a little bit of assistance with your flexibility. So grab those if you think you might need them. But let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start in a kneeling position. Just sitting back on your feet here. We're going to do some upper body and neck and head stretches to start. So let's first just do some circles with your head. So you're going to circle your head around in one direction, looking up towards the sky, and then tucking your chin in towards your chest. And repeating, just continuing these circular motions in one direction. Maybe closing your eyes here. Let's do one more circle and then switch. All right, switching directions now. Keeping up with those circles. Let's do a few more. One more. And back to neutral. Now you're going to send your gaze over your right shoulder. Just looking over your right shoulder towards the ground. We're going to hold here for a moment. And then back to neutral. And then send your gaze over your left shoulder, looking towards the ground, holding there for a moment. All right, back to neutral. Okay, now let's take our arms out wide and we're going to do some circles with them. So circling our arms towards the back of the room. You're sitting up nice and tall here. Feeling that squeeze in your shoulder blades as your arms circle back. And reverse the movement. And if at any point the kneeling starts to feel uncomfortable, you can move your legs out in front of you or sit in a cross-legged position. That's totally fine. All right, and release those arms. Now you're going to take your hands, place them on top of your shoulders, like the shoulder bone here. Just placing your fingertips there. And you're going to twist to the right with your whole torso and twist to the left, alternating directions. Let's do two more on each side. One more on each side. And rest. All right, let's take our right arm and bring it across our body. Capture that right arm in between our left forearm and like elbow area. And you're going to pull your right arm gently towards the left of the room and also push it back towards the back of the room at the same time, getting a deep stretch through your right shoulder. And we're going to hold here. Close your eyes. Focus on the inhale and exhale, the breath flowing in and out through the nose. All right, and release, and we're going to switch sides, capturing that left arm in the right elbow crook, pulling the left arm across to the right of the room and pushing it back towards the back as well, and holding here. and release. Okay, now you're going to take your left hand, place it on your upper back, and then take your right hand and place it on top of that left elbow, just to push that right arm a little bit further down your back to get a nice deep stretch through your left tricep. Holding here. And release, and we're going to switch sides. Patting your upper back with your right hand, placing your left hand on top of your right elbow, pushing on that right arm just a little bit to push it down your back, feeling that stretch through your right tricep. Holding here. All right, and release. Okay, let's take a second to roll our shoulders in one direction and the other, kind of shake out those arms, get the blood flow back. Okay, now let's take our hands and interlace them behind your back, and open up your chest. So maybe you can even place your fists that are interlaced together, your fingers that are interlaced together, on the ground behind you to further open that chest, looking just a little bit up towards the sky. Holding here, opening up your chest. And release. Okay. Now from cross-legged position, you can plant your right hand on the mat next to your right thigh, and then sweep that left arm overhead and bring it across towards the right side of the room. Just getting a little bit of a side bend in here. Can slightly bend that right elbow. Holding here. And release and switch sides. Plant that left palm on the mat next to your left leg. Sweep that right arm overhead, reaching to the left side of the room and holding here. And release. Great job. Okay, from here, let's extend those legs out long in front of yourself. Okay, and you're going to sweep your arms overhead and then fold over your legs. Getting a deep hamstring and calf stretch here. Letting your head hang, releasing any tension from your shoulders. Let's hold here for a few moments. Just turn your attention towards the breath flowing in and out of your nose. All right, and you can roll back up. And now extend your legs out wide. And we're going to fold into the middle of our legs here. Holding there. Deep stretch through your inner thighs here. Rolling back up. From here, you extend your left leg out long. Pick up your right foot and place it over to the left of your left leg here. So just crossing it over that left leg. Now you're going to place your right hand behind you on the floor and pick up your left arm, place your left arm against your right thigh to push your torso towards the right, gently pushing. Sending your gaze over your right shoulder for a spinal twist, and we're holding here. Okay, you can unravel, and we're going to switch sides. Crossing that right leg over your left leg, twisting over to the left. Sending your gaze over your left shoulder and holding here. So you're getting a spinal twist here, and you're also getting a glute stretch. So the leg that is sort of tented up towards the sky, you might feel a stretch through that glute. All right, and release. Okay, from here, let's bring your feet together to touch, like you've got like butterfly style legs. And then you're going to hold on to your feet and try and sit up nice and straight here as much as possible, getting a deep hip stretch. If you'd like to, you can fold in closer towards your feet with your torso, kind of using your forearms to push your legs away from each other to deepen the stretch. But listen to your body. If that is too intense, definitely just hold wherever you're most comfortable. Okay, and release. Okay, from here, let's make our way into a tabletop position. So your hands are under your shoulder points. Your knees are under your hip points. You've got a nice, flat, neutral back. We're going to start with some cat-cows. So you're going to dip your belly towards the ground, looking up towards the sky, holding here for just a moment, and then reversing the motion. So pushing your spine up towards the ceiling, tucking your chin towards your chest, actively engaging through your back. And reverse again. Belly towards the ground, looking up towards the sky. And reverse. And maybe you might find a little bit of movement here if that feels good. Maybe you can move your hips from side to side a little bit. Let's do a few more rounds of these on your own. All right, one more of each. And back to flat back. One moment, I just have to cough. Excuse me, sorry about that. I have a lingering, itchy, dry cough from a cold I had last week. So, apologies for the cough. Okay, back into tabletop. We're going to thread the needle. So you're going to plant your right hand on the mat and then send your left arm through the space between your right arm and right leg, bringing your left ear onto the mat and resting here. Okay, now we're going to Um, Bring that arm back towards tabletop, and instead of placing it on the ground, you're going to sweep your left arm overhead, looking up towards that left hand, and then thread the needle again, and then sweep that arm overhead again. Let's do this 3 more times. All right, back into tabletop. Let's take a moment to give our wrists a little bit of a break. So let's place the front of our hands on the mat as opposed to our palms. So your fingertips are facing your thighs, stretching out the front of your wrists. You might like leaning back a little bit just to deepen that stretch. All right, and now placing our hands back palm down, back into tabletop. All right, let's switch sides now. So plant that left palm, and we're going to thread the needle. Bring that right arm through. Place your right ear on the mat and rest here. All right, now we're going to bring that right arm out from under, and then we're going to sweep that right arm overhead, looking up towards the right hand, holding here. Taking that right arm and threading the needle again, and then bring it back up towards the sky. And we're going to do 3 more of those. All right, and back to tabletop. Let's take a little extended child's pose. Rest here, so your knees are in the outer edges of your mat, your toes are touching together, and then you're going to sink your hips back and down. Bring those arms forward and place your forehead on the mat. We're going to rest here for a few moments. All right, and then back into tabletop for a moment until let's actually now bring our hips back into a downward facing dog. So bringing those hips up towards the sky and back towards the back of the room. You've got a little bit of a bend in those knees. Feet are planted. You might have your heels up off the mat. That's fine. And if you're just sort of waking up those calves, you might want to pedal those feet up and down. Looking back towards your thighs, kind of reach your torso towards the back of the room. All right, find stillness with those feet now, and we're going to shift into a plank. We're just going to be here for a second as we step the right foot to the outside of your right hand. Just hold here for a moment with your hands planted. Now let's step that right foot back into plank and step that left foot to the outer edge of your left hand, sinking into that knee so you feel a good stretch through that right hip flexor. Holding here for a moment. Back into plank. And now step that right foot through the middle of your hands into a runner's lunge here. We're just going to hold here for a moment, hands on the ground or on blocks if you have them on either side of your foot. Now you can drop that left knee and left foot, and you're going to sink your hips back, straightening out that front leg, folding over that front leg so you get a nice hamstring stretch here. Holding here. Okay, now sinking back into that right leg, back into that lunge. Let's lift that back leg and step back into a plank and downward dog. Pedal out those feet for a second. Back to plank, flat back. Excuse me as I adjust my headphone. We're going to bring our left foot in between our hands into that runner's lunge. Hold for a moment here. Now drop that right leg. And we're going to send our hips back, straightening out the front leg, folding over it, getting that hamstring stretch. Might have to cough here again in a moment, folks. I'm sorry. All right. One moment as I cough. So sorry. You know what, folks? I think I have to end class a little early today because I'm having a bit of a cough attack. I gotta get a cough drop. But I hope you enjoyed the stretching so far, and I hope you have a good day.